Hey, true believers. Happy Halloween. I know it's only the beginning of October, but happy spooky season. And I decided for this time, let's go over one of the most awesome series from 2009. I'm talking about the Blackest Night event. This was one of the last events that I actually gave a damn about and just ate it up. Both comics, action figures, any media that I could consume. It was just interesting. And it kind of kills me that, okay, they kicked it off with a free comic book day from 2009, which is what issue 0 is. I kind of wish, since it's supposed to be spooky and all these zombies, people returning from the dead, I wish that they would have, in hindsight, would have released this during Halloween. But it is what it is, summer, blockbuster, whatever. Now, if you guys have never read this, let me kind of try to put this in context. So, during this time period, Grant Morrison did a Batman series called Batman R.I.P., where Bruce Wayne allegedly died during a final crisis at the hands of Doomsday. Martian Manhunter was killed by Darkseid's minions in Final Crisis. Identity Crisis, Firestorm was killed. Let's see, what else was some other big ones from that time period? What was it? Final Crisis. Jeff Johns' Final Crisis, where Kal-El of Earth 2 died. Same with Lois Lane. So these are just some things you want to keep in mind as you read this series. Now, you don't have to read them. Johns does a really good job of bringing, how I say, everybody's comic should be their first comic and have enough information to dive in and enjoy the book and then go backwards or forward as much as they want. And that's kind of what this 0 issue encompasses. So we open with Hal saying, "My name's Hal Jordan. I'm an officer of the Green Lantern Corps, Space Sector 2814. No matter how brightly I shine my light today, the shadows won't be lifted." And so we see him at a gravesite, which is Gotham City. Now, the other book that you need to be aware of at this time was Flash Rebirth. Barry Allen returning after the years after dying in, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Before we go any further, Jeff Johns, writer, Ivan Reyes doing pencils. Oh, that's hard to read, that font. Eau Claire, Albert, and Rob Hunter doing inks. There's everyone else working on the book. Alex and Claire doing the coloring. And if you kind of want a quick read-up on Hal Jordan, there's the read-ups that they used to do. Now, he says Batman, Bruce Wayne. And it shows how him and Hal kind of always went at it. He goes, "The Batman is dead." And this was one of the panels from the last issue of Final Crisis, where we see basically a disintegrated Batman in the hands of Superman. Now, Barry comes to pay his respects. He goes, "I can't stay long." He's like, "I keep picking up police chatter." Because with no bat signal lighting up the sky, even the common scum in Gotham are fearlessly coming out into the night. "It's okay, Barry. Too much to do. This is it? No funeral? No speeches?" Alfred said he didn't want one. His grave's not even marked. They needed to distance Batman's death with Bruce Wayne's. They haven't publicly proclaimed him dead. And Robin's insisting that Bruce really isn't gone. Now listen to this. This is what I mean by paying attention to Flash Rebirth. Barry says he's holding on to hope. That's what Dick always gave Batman. And Hal just kind of goes, "I meant Tim Drake, Barry. You haven't met him yet. He's the current Robin." And you can kind of see that all these missing years, he goes, "Right. Tim Drake." And this is, again, I was kind of talking about in Speed Metal, where Barry Allen is not the jokester, the comic relief that a lot of modern writers use him as. He's a very caring individual, a very smart individual who can be stern at times. And even though he's the fastest man alive, he does sometimes lose foresight. Hence why I really love that issue of Speed Metal, where he keeps forgetting that Wally West is his own person now. So Flash kind of catches himself realizing that he's out of touch, and he goes, I like him already. And it's just great because these two are the classic team. They are best friends. And Hal kind of goes on to say, when you died, your funeral was wall-to-wall friends and family. It was the exact opposite of mine. When I was infected by parallax, driven mad with fear, and they thought I was dead, my tombstone was desecrated, not by enemies, by old allies. I died a sinner. You died a saint. And it's just a great moment between two characters that have been friends for years. And after all that, Hal kind of gives a rundown of who's died, talking about Aquaman dying, Firestorm, John Jones the Martian, Manhunter, saying that he's been buried on Mars. And it's all important because then it goes into talking about William Hand and the Black Lanterns. So you just kind of feel this powder keg that's about to explode. And I appreciate that, if you haven't read the Sinestro War or any of the other stuff, it kind of gives you a rundown on who the Green Lantern Corps are, who the Red Lanterns are, who is Agent Orange, who's the Sinestro Corps, the Blue Lanterns, the Indigo Tribe. Sorry, these pages are just being a pain in the butt. And of course, the Star Sapphires and the Black Lanterns. So it was just a great build-up. And at the time, I was really reading a lot of these series, so I'm thankful that I knew mostly what was happening. But going back years later now and reading more past DC, I appreciate this event all the more. Because you just see where your characters were in this pre-Flashpoint universe. So guys, if you've enjoyed what you've seen, if you can get your hands on a copy of this at your local comic shop or wherever it is that you get comics and action figures, grab this or the collected trade of Blackest Nights. Both will be worth it because then it'll throw in both the Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps tie-ins. And if you guys have enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate it if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little lantern bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, I hope y'all continue to have a spooky day reading and happy hunting, true believers.